Amy is a country girl getting graduating.
No, although she did say that
stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now I'm going to be singing the alma mater. If you want to follow along, it's on the back of the program on the bottom. Hopkinton, our alma mater, green and white we hail your name. Strength and spirit, bound with knowledge, have ensured your lasting claim. Claim to worthiness, striving for success, built upon deserving pride. Though the years may pass, memory still lasts. Our alma mater, Hopkinton High, in Kentucky River Valley, stands our alma mater true. We return to share her glory and our visions to renew. Future promise bright, bringing dreams to light. Hopkinton, your virtue shines. Though the years may pass, memory still lasts. Our alma mater, Hopkinton High. Parents, families, friends, and community members, welcome to the graduation of the Hopkinton class of 2014. Now, the class of 2014 is here today, but we haven't always held the best reputation through the Hopkinton School District. We started off rough at Harold Martin when every single one of us during recess had to sit against the brick wall during recess because we were causing ruckus on the playground. We continued that streak at Maple Street when we had a series of silent lunches because our lunches were insane. However, we tried to move past our bad behavior and we looked forward to trips to Ruggles Mine and Odeon Point, but the teachers didn't look past it as easy as we did, so we didn't go on the trips. Probably because it was too risky to bring us out in public. And even to this year, one teacher told us that we have the worst case of senioritis they have ever seen. But despite these flaws the others saw in us, the class of 2014 does have a good side. I think we can all remember the unforgettable play, Aesop's Fables in second grade, or the times that we sang Route 66 over and over and over again with Miss Griffin. But I think we really became close this past year on our senior trip when we all jumped into a hot tub together after freezing in our wetsuits for hours. But I think our best memory together is when the time that Gordy won the lottery. Many probably didn't expect the class of 2014 to be so successful, but this group standing behind me is composed of very, very promising individuals. We have some people spending their entire next year devoting their time to the community. We have others attending top-ranked universities, some giving their time to the local fire department or armed forces, and we even have a future Major League Baseball player. But through it all, good and bad, there's no class I would have rather been with for the last 12 years than the class of 2014. I hope when you go out into the world next year, if you ever see Route 66, you think of Miss Griffin flailing her arms at us, and you only cause a little bit of ruckusness. But most of all, I hope that when you go out into the world next year, you always remember that you'll be a Hopkinton Hawk forever. And we would also like to thank our class advisors who have helped us so much over the years, Mr. Broussard and Madame Harb.
I'm Gordon McDonald, for those of you who don't know, and I'm the salutatorian, somehow. I didn't win the lottery. That's not funny. When I first realized I might have to speak to everyone at graduation, my initial reaction was laughter. No way, I thought. You're gonna let me speak here? After that, I told a few friends about it, hoping to gauge their reaction for some kind of guidance. The only piece of advice I got, however, was from my friend Josh. He told me, don't try to sound profound. You're just gonna bore everybody. Just be funny and be quick. Josh, I tried to follow your advice. I really did. I tried to come up with the most interesting and amusing things I learned at high school. Maybe they'll offer you some insight, and maybe they won't. I hope you won't be bored. The first really funny thing I learned in high school is that there is a very definite level of intelligence and emotion that'll get you through almost anything. More or less is truly unfortunate. Too quiet and you're an idiot. People will make fun of you. Too strident and you're stuck up. People will hate you. It's better to just coast by in the middle, giving answers but never questions. Be just mature enough to explain just how and why Huck Finn is relevant to modern day America, but not so mature that you start going to the bathroom without permission. Be just smart enough to understand what it means to say the Pledge of Allegiance, but not smart enough to sit through it. Be just thoughtful enough to feel sad, but never thoughtful enough to feel truly angry. Understand why you have to follow the rules, but do not try to change them. In the end, it just makes sense. Rules are there for a reason, and questioning them is not necessary. What would a world where everybody was honest and truthful really look like? The second really funny thing I learned in high school is that people are really truly weird. The people you hate the most can often surprise you, as can the people you love. It's funny knowing that you don't entirely know anybody else and knowing that the same is true for everybody who has ever lived. It isn't exactly pleasant to see somebody you respect and like with their pants down, but I try to find the humor in it at least. It just makes you sad, and that's the opposite of why we're here today, I think. Isn't that the opposite of what anybody wants, being sad? The last thing I have to say about high school is an observation. People lie. A lot of the time, most people, mostly adults, tell other people, who are mostly kids, to be themselves. And sometimes people interpret this to mean that you should never compromise who you are, no matter how hard it is, no matter how many days you just want to go home, or no matter how many nights you spend in your room by yourself, or no matter how many times you want to hurt yourself. I guess if I can impart one piece of wisdom to my class as we take our first leaden stride to nowhere, it would be this. Be yourself does not really mean be yourself. Individuality is, I assume, a privilege and not a right. If who you are is gross or strange or odd or upsetting or abrasive or even just a little bit weird, you probably shouldn't be yourself. If you feel an urge to put on a dress and dance around, just say no. Put on a little pink wristband and smile to yourself because that's just who you are. If you feel an urge to speak up about something, just push those feelings down. They don't really mean anything. You don't have to be yourself, you just have to feel comfortable. Isn't it better this way? Josh, we've talked a lot about individuality. You once asked me how people deal with rejection, with loneliness, and with alienation. I don't think I've ever given you a straight answer, and I want to apologize for that. You and I both know it is very possible to talk a lot while saying very little. And I think that that was the case in this conversation. What I learned in high school is that there is no reason to be an individual. Thinking for yourself, coming to your own conclusions, and living life on your own terms just isn't practical. The world's not built for people like us, Josh. You can't make a decent living that way. Believe me, I've learned this the hard way. I truly hope this does not come as any kind of compromise or letdown, as I know it did for me. Try to look on the bright side. At least it'll be painless.
Mr. Chamberlain, members of the school board, administration, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and mostly the class of 2014. You are a special group of young people to me. Many of us started our journey together in 5th grade, where I was lucky enough to teach almost half of you. You were my first 5th grade class. Some of you have gone on with my youth group to mission trips. We've spent some Sunday evenings together. Several of you have spent an entire semester working in my elementary classroom. The rest of you were my students when I was class advisor here your freshman and sophomore year when I taught English at Hopkinton High School, before I returned to Maple Street. All I can say is you've come a long way since 5th grade math mall. Did you know that this year David Letterman has announced that he's leaving his late night talk show? I can tell some of you have no idea who David Letterman is. He is my generation's Jon Stewart, and one of my favorite things he does is create top 10 lists. Things like top 10 reasons not to marry Miley Cyrus, and top 10 reasons to graduate in a pulling bar. So I thought I'd put together for you my own set of top 10 suggestions I have for you as you graduate from high school. Here they go. Number 10, don't take unsolicited advice from people like this. Think for yourself. Know what you believe and why you believe it and be able to back it up. You might have been born into a card-carrying NRA family or to the most peace-loving hippie throwbacks, but that doesn't mean you have to think what they think, and it doesn't mean you have to go against what they think either. Just do your own thinking. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Do the math. Listen more than you speak. Learn from your mistakes. Thomas Edison, the inventor of many things, including light bulbs, once said, "I have not failed. I've found 10,000 things that won't work." So celebrate your own mess-ups. Welcome embarrassment. I don't know why, but for some reason in our world, being wrong is accompanied by embarrassment. I say embrace being wrong. We are a trial and error species that refuses to embrace our errors. We call them mistakes, and we refuse to believe in the very thing that teaches us, mistakes. I know that if I asked each of you, you could look back and think of an area where you grew a lot. A class you didn't think you would pass, a project that wasn't going right, something you just couldn't fix. And I bet if you think of that, you would know that it involved errors and mistakes, and that's why you learn it, and that's how you grew. Your elders, those of us surrounding you, rooting for you today, cannot make those mistakes for you. We're too busy making them for ourselves. And just like all of you, we are never done learning. Number 9, this is going to surprise you. Read a lot. Those of you who know me know that I read kind of like I breathe. I've been known to put away 6 or 8 books on a beach in a day and 600 in the summer. And you don't have to be that crazy, but you do need to read. And I would suggest that reading only one-sided online news sites is not what's best for you. Have a good reading diet: fiction, magazines, nonfiction, professional journals, manuals, newspapers, online sources, but read. Reading expands your mind, it fills you with ideas, it stretches your imagination, and it lets you experience things that you won't and you'll ever be able to have in your life. Read books that make you cry, blogs that make you laugh, travel magazines and then plan an adventure. Read things you disagree with for character building. Reading is one of the things that helps you grow. Do it. And by the way, there is a free Kindle app for your phone. Get it, and then you'll always have a book in your pocket. Number 8 is stay alive. Seriously, there are a lot of really bad things out there that inflict serious damage on young adults. Drunk drivers, life-sucking drugs, abusive relationships. The list is long, and life can be really scary. I've had a lot of college-age men and women come and tell me things they do for fun. And when a former student comes up to me and tells me some crazy story about, we got a water ski rope and a skateboard and a truck and the ice on the pond was awesome, I just stop and remind myself that the frontal lobe, the part of your brain responsible for common sense, isn't fully formed until you're almost 25. So without your folks around to keep you safe and to keep you from making questionable decisions, I hope you'll think of me and this point often over the next 5 years. I want you to be alive long enough to exercise some of the common sense I know you'll eventually get. Which brings me to number 7. No means no and stop means stop, always. Your mom said it when you kept putting a toad in your sister's Barbie house. Your teacher said it when you built clubs that excluded people. They usually had to do with the tire swing at Harold Martin. We all know that "I'm not touching him" said in the backseat of the long drive to Florida with a finger a centimeter from his face is a violation of the rule. It meets the letter of the rule, but it violates the principle of it. No means no, and stop means stop. It was true when you were a kid, and it's true now. And next year, when you find yourself in a sketchy situation, respect that. Respect the boundaries others put on you when they say no. And this also means that you need to establish your own boundaries. Honor your own right to say no. All of the adults in this room with you today agree, and they know that it's really hard to stand up, to be the one person in the room who's saying, "This isn't a good idea," or "We really shouldn't do this." But by being that one person, you might just make the world a better place. So right now, ask yourself, whom do I respect? The chances are that person stands for something and stands up for it. Number 6, don't mistake making money for being happy. If you have a lot of money and you're happy, you might think that they go together. But the American dream was never meant to be an accumulation of great riches or great power. Your forefathers didn't care if you got rich. They didn't proclaim for you life, liberty, and the pursuit of stuff. All the cliches you hear about what money can't buy. You can't buy love, you can't buy happiness, respect, dignity, grace. Those are cliches for a reason. So please plan for a brilliant life full of happiness, and if money is part of the plan, lucky you. Number 5, avoid using the word perfect. Don't even entertain the concept, because perfect is a word inserted into the English language just to make us feel badly. It's the only word that I know that is often defined by what cannot be. We say all the time, nobody's perfect. Well, if nobody's perfect, there's really not a point in talking about it. A perfectionist is someone who spends his or her life feeling badly because he or she can't live up to standards that no one else lives up to either. The best response is just accept no one will ever be perfect. Your flaws are part of what makes you the beautiful you are. Number 4, allow no time for fear, anxiety, and worry. Most of what you've been afraid of will never hurt you. I want you to remember when you were in 4th grade and you were scared of the 6th graders. And then you went to prom with them when you were freshmen. So even though many of you thought you'd never survive gym logs or AP history, here you sit, alive and well. And I'm here to tell you that every adult in this arena will back you up. You can't even imagine some of the things that will hurt you. And no matter what, you won't be prepared. So time spent being afraid is time wasted. Nothing's worse than wasted time. Go read a book. Number 3, celebrate relativity, because nothing exists without an opposite. Things are what they are in relation to other things, and that is a hugely important part of piece of information for living. There's no joy without despair. There's no courage without cowardice. No loyalty without betrayal. Roller coasters are a lot of fun because of the up and the down, and so is life. Some of the wisest people I know have been dealt some of the hugest challenges, and they came through their trials bigger, better, faster, stronger. And the richness of being alive requires that we recognize relativity, and if we are healthy, that we choose to be on the upside of all those ordered pairs. We learned it in 5th grade physics. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion, so when you're down, get back up and get on with your life. Number 2, be creative. As much fun as we all know it is to be tested on state capitals and presidents of the United States in reverse order, real education is impossible. It's pretty useless, really, when it doesn't excite our creativity. Creativity empowers us. It makes us who we are. Next year, you're going to find out that there are a lot of people who are like you, much not like what Hopkinton is. You'll find that the military is full of tactical people. Colleges are full of smart people. AmeriCorps and agencies like that are full of big-hearted people. Trade schools are full of hands-on people. And as you specialize, you're going to discover that what made you unique here in Hopkinton is something that you share with a lot of people who walk a path similar to the one you chose. And that's fun, but it's scary, because all of a sudden you have to do more just to be noticed. So reflect, respond, and then to get noticed, get creative. And now my number 1 suggestion for you as you walk out into this world is that you seek truth. Never let beliefs that were handed down to you before you had the capacity to design your own stand in the way of seeking truth. As you develop your own truth, remember this: if it elevates one group of people over another, if it presents in black and white rather than gray, if it disregards tolerance, then it probably needs work. The seeking of truth is tough work because truth wears many faces, and many people often claim to have the one truth with a capital T. Actively seeking truth requires that you use all the other top 10. Don't take unsolicited advice, reading, staying alive, setting boundaries, being happy but not perfect, fearlessly embracing relativity, and celebrating creativity. In the words of a French philosopher, we arrive at truth not only by reason, but by heart. And isn't that what you all have a ton of? Heart. Your world is ready, graduates. Go seek that truth. I am so thankful for the young men and women on this stage. I have nothing but pride for you and the people you've become. Well, actually I have pride and I have a lot of love for all of you too. You're standing on the threshold of life, looking out at all the possibilities, and that is so exciting. Thank you for the honor of sharing my own top 10 list with you on what is so far one of the biggest days of your lives.
Good afternoon. Liz and I bring greetings from the Hopkinton School Board. One of the best things about being on the school board is when we talk to all the seniors in Mrs. Sintros's famous civics class. I've learned how much you like to share your perspectives about what has worked well and what things could have been done better or differently here in Hopkinton, and I thank you for that. Your contributions make a difference that will affect future generations of students and graduates. I hope all of you will continue to contribute your time and ideas to help improve your schools and communities in every place you call home, and maybe someday even consider joining the school board.
Your experience here at Hopkinton gives you a solid foundation on which to build your future. Whether you may be going on to a four-year college, one of our fine New Hampshire community colleges, the military, into the workforce, or setting out as an entrepreneur, you take with you the skills to be successful. With the support of this community, you took an active role in an education which gives you the opportunity to develop as healthy, bright-minded young adults. During your high school years, you explored a variety of disciplines in the sciences, arts, and athletics, challenged yourselves to become analytical, creative, and innovative thinkers, and encouraged each other to push the boundaries of your comfort zones. Stay healthy and take care of yourselves.
We'd like to thank the administration and our enormously talented and devoted teaching faculty and staff. We'd also like to thank the parents, families, brothers, sisters, and the community for sharing in this mission. I can't believe it's closing time. We wish you all the good health, joy, and prosperity in your lives that you can stand. Cheers to the class of 2014, and go get them.
It truly is an honor to be here to speak before the parents, the guardians, faculty, community members, school board, and of course, members of the class of 2014. Though I've had the opportunity to speak at a number of high school graduations, this is the first time in my 26 years in public education that I'm speaking to you as an educator and a parent of a high school student. Having a youngster in high school has definitely enriched my perspective. Former Hopkinton Superintendent of Schools Richard Ayers brought a framed quote from educational philosopher John Dewey to the superintendent's office a few years ago. It remains to this day in the office. What the best and wisest parent wants for their own child, that must the community want for all its children. So what do the best and wisest parent want for their own children that the community must want for all its children? while for the class of 2014, it must begin with the ability to, above all, care. Members of the class of 2014 have shown an ability to care, from student representatives to the school board, who advocate for the educational program for the next version of high school seniors, to members of the newly established Kiva Club that care about the quality of life in third world nations so much that they're changing lives through microlending. The members of the class of 2014, above all, care. But the best and wisest parents in the community wants more. We want successful achievement of content, skills, and understandings. We want you to have learned much. And yes, the class of 2014 has learned much. From first robotics competitions to forensics tournaments to math team competitions, to achieving the distinction of New Hampshire scholars, to enriching courses, and of course, an abundance of competencies. You have learned much. But the best and wisest parents in the community wants more than skills, content, and understandings. It also wants the achievement of habits of mind. Habits of mind like perseverance and resilience. Members of the class of 2014 have showed perseverance and resilience. From a 20-point plus comeback at the state semifinal game at Southern New Hampshire University, to a couple of members who sit before us tonight who extended their education, for which I incredibly admire them. The members of the class of 2014 have absolutely shown perseverance and resilience. Habits of mind like empathy and understanding, the Interact Club's impact, support for clean water initiatives, the support for Special Olympics and Unified team members, to powerful statements against bullying. Members of the class of 2014 have shown empathy and understanding of others. They've also taken responsible risks, keyword responsible. Members of the class of 2014 have belayed each other from the ceiling of the gymnasium and supported each other on a hike up a mountain, for some the first hike ever up a mountain. You have been willing to take responsible risks and accomplish your goals. But what the best and wisest parent wants, what the community wants, we want more for you. We want you to be able to apply your knowledge as in entrepreneurship. Members of the class of 2014 have demonstrated the ability to apply their literacy, math, and presentation skills in obtaining investment capital to expand a successful business. Like creating and imagining and innovating, like taking extraordinary photographs, or giving speeches, or writing poetry, or contributing to the Before I Die wall. The class of 2014 has shown incredible creativity, imagination, and innovation. And of course, the ability to communicate clearly. Members of the class of 2014 have absolutely demonstrated their ability to communicate clearly, whether posting on a social media site regarding the prom, or a phone call to the superintendent protesting that there wasn't a snow day one day this winter. Still, the best and wisest parents wants more. More than above all care, more than skills, content, and understanding, more than the habits of mind. The best and wisest parents in the community want you to believe in your very soul that you are not a finished product, that you can and must continue to grow. Psychologist Carol Dweck calls it a growth mindset. You must have a growth mindset. A growth mindset focuses you on the process, not the results, focuses you on the learning, not the grade. In a growth mindset, failure is not a tombstone, but a stepping stone. A growth mindset believes in and embraces feedback as the key to improvement. The best and wisest parent, the community, wants you to have faith in your capacity to grow, to embrace challenges, to be intrigued by mistakes, and to believe that you are responsible for and can make tomorrow better than today. So here it is, the whole package. Go forward with what every parent wants for their children, what this community wants for all the children. The capacity to care, to have strong content skills and understandings, to be resilient and persevere, to be empathetic and understanding, to take responsible risks and to apply what you have learned, to be creative, to communicate clearly, and to have in your head, heart, and heart the belief in growth. Please know that you are the most precious of cargo. Please know that the people closest to you will always worry and care about you. Thank you for all you have done. I wish you all the happiness you can stand. My best to each and every one of you.
today, on the precipice of the future, is the first line of a speech that I found on the internet. Yes, I just admitted to searching various websites for graduation speeches looking for inspiration. Did I find inspiration? Not really. Probably because all these speeches were already taken by their respective speakers. Only when I realized that this had to be written without the help of Google or WikiHow did I close all the other tabs on my computer, except for my AP English final project and my pet peeve speech for the forensics tournament, a clear example of how prominent senioritis was in these last weeks of school. When I first thought about writing this speech, I thought, I can't do this. At the time, it seemed like a daunting task. How could I possibly write something to sum up my experience at Hopkinton High? The answer is, I still can't. There is no way words can fully express my feelings towards my time spent here. I would like to quote the recently deceased Maya Angelou in saying that I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. It is true. I will never forget how the faculty or students sitting behind me have made me feel throughout my time at Hopkinton. The teachers have been instructive and informative, taking care to throw in a witty comment here and there. I am grateful for their guidance, and I am confident that they have equipped me with the tools needed for college. I'd also like to make a shout out to Mrs. LaJoy because I don't think I would have survived the college application process without her. In this year alone, I have experienced more stress than I knew was possible, thanks to the SATs, ACTs, AP tests, college applications, and scholarships. This was followed by extreme relief and excitement brought on by the arrival of acceptance letters. Anxiety and eagerness created the ever-present buzz surrounding the May 1st decision deadline. Throughout this roller coaster of emotions, I had people who kept me grounded, people who distracted me when the pressure mounted, people who were going through the exact same thing as me, which was a comfort in the midst of all the chaos. When the deposit was turned in, the weight of the world lifted and an increasing anticipation for the start of college replaced it. This year has been a winding journey that is quickly coming to a close. The memories that I will take with me to college cannot be put to justice in words, but if I had to try and list the moments that I will miss, I would say I will never forget the moments with my friends, laughing uncontrollably, bringing us to the point of tears. Whitewater rafting with my class on the best senior trip I could have ever asked for. My soccer team, specifically the late night hair braiding session before our homecoming game, team dinners where Texas toast was a mandatory item, hitting turbulence on the bus, and singing some nights at the top of our lungs. Surprise princess parties, discovering that I'm not the only one with a weird taste in food, trips to Friendly's and the Olive Garden, shopping trips during free blocks, snowball fights and ecology, the Cape Cod trip that started with the Twinkie breaking down on the side of the highway, making s'more jokes around the campfire, and counting down to this very day, the immense excitement and all the immense excitement surrounding it. All of these and countless more memories constitute some of the greatest times in my life. I would like to conclude my speech with some words from a very wise person, Gandalf the Grey. Home is now behind you, the world is ahead. While these wizards' words were applicable to a small hobbit going on a quest to battle a dragon, they also hold true to us now. As a class, we are leaving the familiar small-town school of Hopkinton and venturing into the world. Whether someone is going to college, joining the military, entering the workforce, or taking a year off, we are all beginning a new journey. I wish every person behind me the best of luck in the future. I could not have asked for a better class to join. They are crazy, fun, smart, athletic, and unique in the best way possible. So all hail this class, the class of 2014.
Well, good evening. My name is Christopher Kelly. I'm the principal of Hopkinton High School. And I'd like to welcome the family and friends that are here this evening, including our superintendent, Mr. Steve Chamberlain, our assistant principal, Mrs. Rebecca Gagnon, our chairman of the school board, Mr. David Luno, our members of the school board, our wonderful faculty, and certainly our graduating class of 2014. We spend much of our lives looking forward to different and important events, be they birthdays or holidays. And I must say that for students and staff alike, that Friday I always look forward to.
especially those Fridays before a vacation. So much it seems that at times we can lose sight of what it means to live in the present. Tonight gives us a perfect chance to live in the present because as graduates, you have come to the end of an important year. That means we should slow down, take our foot off the gas, and really focus on what it means to live in the present. You are indeed standing at a moment in time, and tonight you can look back not just at this past year, but at all the years that you have spent at Hopkinton High School and in the Hopkinton School District. And I also encourage you to look forward to what lies ahead, because I'm sure that it's exciting. This year has marked for you a great transition from students to graduates, not just yet, but soon, and all that comes with it. This year has seen many changes for you. You have had to take on more responsibility. You have had to become more of an adult. You should feel different, older certainly, but it's more than that. You are all wiser and more at one with yourself. You should feel more confident. Ahead of you lies a great future, whether you plan to attend a college or university, a training program, or the military. This is an exciting time because you can really now appreciate the real changes that are happening in your life. You should have a great feeling of achievement. I think you would agree that all the hard work and long hours of study were certainly worth it. I hope that you will take time tonight to reflect upon the help and support you have had all these years from your family and friends. They have worked hard and wanted you to succeed, as have all of your teachers and support staff, whose responsibility it was to ensure that you reached your fullest potential. All of those who have contributed to your success deserve your thanks. Tonight, as well as congratulating yourselves, I would like you to think of the idea that it's now that counts. Tonight is what counts for you, for your families, for your friends. When we spend all of our time looking forward, we can miss the real valuable experiences that are happening right before us. To live in the moment is to be alive, to be open to now. It gives you the opportunity to appreciate the life that you have. You see, it's very easy to take that for granted. This evening gives you the opportunity to appreciate the gifts that you have been given. Some of you have extraordinary talents, but each and every one of you have something special to offer to the world. It may be your caring nature, it may be your generosity, it could simply be the warmth of your smile. You may feel like these things don't rate much in the academic world, but I can assure you that they certainly rate high in life's world. I would like you to think about how lucky you are to have your health, your loving families, and the opportunities to continue your education or to live out your dreams and aspirations. I would like you to ask yourselves, what will you give in return for these gifts? Life, you see, is also about give as well as take. Now is the time to decide on what you really value in life. There is no harm in working to become successful or even rich. Don't do it, though, at the expense of being human and caring. Try to strike the right balance between work and play, something Miss Cross reminds me of often. Think about being a volunteer in an organization or group that needs your help and your assistance. Share your singing talents with children in a deprived area. Collect money for the homeless. Or teach someone to read and write if that appeals to you. But don't wait to be asked to help. Above all, enjoy now. Enjoy tonight this special occasion, which is your high school graduation. It is one that you will, quite rightly, remember for the rest of your lives. 10 or 20 years from now, I hope that you will look at the photos that are taken tonight and be glad of the decisions you made then. Finally, I'd like you to remember this quote. One half of life is luck, the other is discipline. And that's the important half. For without discipline, you wouldn't know what to do with your life. So with that, to the class of 2014, I truly congratulate you, and I wish you all the best as you complete the ceremony tonight and move on to your future. Thank you very much.
Schultz. Taylor Alexandra Yanakopoulos. Caroline May Swenny. Sadie Lee Montour. Nicole Carol Cullinan. Catherine Elise Wasserman. Anna Jane Needleman. Courtney Irene Benson. Matthew Daniel French. Jacob Joseph Massey. Anthony Helen Glanville. Alyssa Ann Morse. Kelly Margaret Herritt. Paige Whitney Scammon. Emma Woodside Rittenberger. Aiden William O'Brien. Christopher Jacob Barnard. Joshua Harris Salzberg. Emma Josephine Donahue. Emily Lynn Valari. Sydney Cheryl Curbison. Jordan Rose McBride Mack. Amy Tong Sharp. Chelsea Ann Bonolo. Emily Louise Jones. Thomas McCarthy Knight. Gordon Theodore McDonald. Andrew Jacob Clay. Dominic Joseph Brancato. Mary Grace McAuliffe. Kelly Hunter Scammon. Catherine Charlotte Andrew. Brittany Nicole Marshall. Victoria Lee Manolo.
Kennedy Dion Tawney. Austin Douglas Grant. Brian Carl Hauschild. Matthew Alexander Bohm. Jonathan Allen Jones. Brad Allen Photo. Ruben John Meister. Dylan Scott Chadwick. Joshua Thomas Coe. Dominic Keziah Puglisi. Cody Michael Roberge. Abigail Lauren White. Marissa Noel Bowman. Megan June Emmerline. Cooper Daniel Locke. Catherine Marlene Irwin. Madison Elizabeth Bergathon. Sarah Ann Eastman. Sonia Wallace Levitt. Catherine Christine Susi. Brandon Zachary Kyer. Jordan Michael Young. Liam Thomas McNicholas. Benjamin Joseph Thompson. Colin James Pereskiva. Gabriel James Nichols. Hannah Zoa Hughes. Kira Lynn Campbell. Samuel Robert Winslow. Keenan Torsten Johnston. Andrew Joseph Reale. Jacob Timothy Nelson. Jed Hawk Auberton. Nathan Mark Shatney. Alicia Salsabila and Darwin. Kumar. Megan Marie Bailey Bork. Alexander Francis Sanford. Kayla Lynn Grady. Harley Daniel T. House.
Mr. Chairperson, I am pleased to report that the seniors present this evening have met all of the Hopkinton School District educational policies and the requirements for a secondary school education for the state of New Hampshire. And for that, I proudly present to you and the community the class of 2014.
Graduation over, the end of the school. On to college.